what's going on. This is going to be a kind of like a little review, like things you should know from a S550 Mustang GT owner perspective. This car's ruby red. It's a 6-speed manual transmission, a little bit higher miles on it. It's got about 60,000 miles on it. It's a 2017, so the mileage is kind of high for that. But to be fair, I've driven the car across the country about 3 or 4 times, and it's never once has it given me a single issue as far as maintenance or anything like that. Like, I've never had a check engine light thrown on it. The only check engine light I've ever had on this car is I bought it, and as I was driving it home from the dealership, the car misfired and it bogged really hard, and the check engine light blinked, and I literally spun it around and went right back to the dealership and dropped it off. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with it, but you guys need to fix it. And they replaced the intake manifold on it, so because these cars have issues. I think at least the 2017s, they have issues with the intake manifold. I think it's cylinder 8, but that's kind of rare. Like, that's not really a normal occurrence. Like, you kind of just have to get unlucky to have that happen to you. But yeah, besides that, the reliability of the car has been absolutely outstanding. I'll go ahead and tell you guys everything I've done to it. So as far as the front end goes, it's pretty stock. It's got this chin spoiler on it. I'll show it to you guys. Get it nice and close so you can actually see it. It's pretty thick. The stock one doesn't really go out that far. The stock one probably goes probably like that far. Probably out to like right there. Everything. I mean, these cars look pretty good stock, but you know, it doesn't hurt to add some extra parts to it. I've got the GT350 Trek Pack spoiler on it. This is just plasti dip. This is the S550 parts rear diffuser. This car's a base model, so they made one for the non-premium, which is super cool. The install is super easy. If you look under here, I don't know if the GoPro will be able to see it. There's bolts right here and right here, down here on both sides, same spots. But you literally just bolt it into the bumper and it just screws in. I'm sure you guys have noticed the wheels. These are XXR 559s. It's a 19x10 all the way around, wrapped in a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. And the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S is a 285/35/19. I will tell you, if you're interested in these tires, this is the biggest size tire you can run on this, like as far as the square setup goes, because the suspension is completely stock. There's no spacers. I'm not on springs. This is literally just the stock suspension with these wheels and tires put on there. This is like the thickest setup you could run. I'm sure you could run a 40. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure you could run a 40, but that 40 is going to be pretty tall, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, this is the biggest wheel and tire setup that you can run on these stock without having to run a spacer or suspension or anything. I'll show you guys the interior. Interior of the car is pretty dirty, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't washed it in far too long. I've got the GT350 shift knob. Like I said, this car's a base model, so you know, the 4-inch, it's not touchscreen or whatever. I mean, all the S550s come with the carbon fiber dash, but I don't think it's real carbon fiber. I think it's just a cover. But stereo system's pretty good. On my last Mustang, I had that speaker down there blow out. That's really the only problem I've ever had with this car. It wasn't even this car, it was on my old one. So that's really the only problem I've ever had with this this generation of Mustangs. I know the last one was pretty bad in the interior. It's a lot of plastic. All this stuff up here is leather. The steering wheel's pretty nice. It kind of rubs out a little bit. You know, I mean, you can see how it kind of just, I don't know. There's a little bit left to be desired, I guess. Maybe the Alcantara steering wheel. I mean, I'm eventually going to trade this one out for the GT350 Alcantara steering wheel anyway, but you know, just something to think about. But shit, for the exterior of the car, I don't really remember anything else. I mean, I guess I can pop the hood and show you guys, but there's not really a whole lot. I guess I can do it anyway. Yep, there it is. I mean, it's just a 5.0 engine. Leave that the way it is until it's out of warranty. Jesus, dude, over here blowing stuff off the street. I'll go ahead and start it up for you guys. I'm gonna switch to the head cam setup, and then I can go for a little bit of drive and talk a little bit more about the drivability of the car and everything. All right, y'all. Fire the car up. God, I hate driving with this thing on my head. It makes me look like such a bozo. All right, I'm hopping on out here after this truck. All right, let's get it. This car's got about 60,000 miles on it, almost 61. I've had the car since it had 49,000 miles on it, so I bought it pretty used. I'm in California now, but I did live in Illinois, so I made sure to check for rust and everything like that. But I haven't had a single problem with this motor. And as far as the reliability and everything of the Coyote goes, it's pretty good. I'm sure you can hear the exhaust, Borla Attack. It's a full 3-inch catback all the way back, so it's not a cheap system for sure. I've known a lot of people that can just straight pipe these, and it's going to be super, super loud. The Borla is going to give you a little bit better of a tone. It's going to be a little bit deeper. A lot of people go with Corsa Extremes too. If you listen to the videos, the Borla Attack and the Corsa Extremes are pretty much the same volume, pretty much. It's just the Corsas are a little bit more higher pitched. And I mean, with, you know, if you like that little bit deeper tone, then I recommend going with Borla. The install with these was super simple. You literally just, there's just clasps and everything like that you can go ahead and take off. It's not hard. Anybody can do it. We just put the car up on ramps and unclasped everything. So I can talk a little bit about the MT82 transmission. I'm sure if you're watching this video, then you've already looked it up online, everything about the manual transmissions in these cars and knowing about the shift forks and all the problems and everything. Yeah, it's not that good, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, the shifts are a little bit wonky. At high RPMs, it tends to lock you out pretty hard. Like, I don't know. It's not really my cup of tea. Look, it's not that bad. Like, if you want to daily drive the car, the car is absolutely dailyable. Like, you can definitely manage it. I mean, it's just something that you have to learn how to get along with. The best way I've heard it explained to me is like between the shifts, you just kind of take a breath between every shift. If you're used to driving a little bit more fast, I know with the Tremec transmissions, you can put them into gear a little bit quicker and it's still smooth. So it's just something you have to learn how to deal with. As far as banging gears and stuff goes, this car does have a tendency to lock you out at a high RPMs. I have had that happen to me. I was going from second to third, and it locked me out pretty good. I know I clutched in and I put it in gear at probably about 7,500, like right before like real red line. It locked me out, and I banged it off the rev limiter a couple times. So, you know, if that's really what you're looking to do with the car, then, you know, just beware of that too. I know that the blowfish bracket helps. The short throw shifter, just pretty much any variant of that is going to help. I've heard that the Barton Hybrid's really, really good. The Triax short throw shifter is really good, apparently. I'm on stock everything, so I can't give you my real experience with it. Just that's what I've heard so far. The air conditioning and everything works really good. I know that the 2015 and 2016s had a huge problem with that, where the air conditioning would go out and it would just blow hot air. 2017s, that issue is fixed. My AC blows cold and hot year round. I've never had a problem with it, never had an issue with it. I drove from Chicago to California in this car. I packed my entire life inside of this car, and I did not have a problem with it fitting. Trunk space is good, never had an issue. I've been able to fit 4 wheels and tires. I fit all 4 of the wheels and tires that are on it now. That was tough to get in there, but it did fit. In the end, it did fit. I did have to put one in the front seat, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it will fit. You know, this car has got a lot more room in it than what a lot of people give it credit for. It's not a bad daily if really that's what you're looking for. In hindsight, I would definitely go with the premium, but I knew that this car was eventually going to turn into a full-blown race car. So, you know, eventually these stock seats are coming out, and I'm gonna dash swap it, and then I'm gonna Sync 3 swap it. So the premium wasn't really something that I was really hounding on. It wasn't really something I was super looking for. If I can find one for a good price, then great, but if not, then, you know, so be it. The back seats are a little bit lackluster, but obviously if you buy a Mustang for the back seats, then you should have got a Charger. That's just how it is. I'm sure if you have like little kids and stuff like that, I'm sure you could fit them in there no problem. I've had my nephews put car seats and stuff back there, and he's ridden in there, and he, you know, if you have little kids and stuff like that, I mean, I'm sure they'll fit fine. I haven't had to daily drive it with a kid around in my car all the time. I'm sure you could make it work. You guys can obviously hear the Borla. It's pretty loud. Just give you guys a little bit of a sound test, but I'll slow down to 40. I'll do a 40 roll. I'll go in a second. Got a guy behind me though. You know, like I said, banging gears is not bad. Like, I short shifted a little bit there. I revved it out to about 65, almost 7, and it went into gear pretty good. But if you go anywhere past that, really, you run that risk of locking it out. So it's got 5% tint all the way around. I don't have anything in the windshield because that's super illegal and I'm not trying to get a ticket. So I'm going to definitely get different tires, because if you're buying one of these, especially the performance pack, they come with the Pirelli P0s. Those things are trash. They're so bad. I had Pirelli P0s on this car too, and it was just so bad. Like, they would not. I hit it in second gear and these Michelins hooked up like that, but those Pirelli P0s would I would literally smoke the tires coming out of second gear. And I would chirp them going into third, chirp them going into fourth, and fifth is wherever I really, like, I could shift it really hard and it wouldn't chirp at all. So for 60,000 miles, almost 61,000 miles, this car's a freaking tank. I drove it from Chicago to Nashville to Mississippi, and then all the way back. I went from Chicago to Nashville. It was probably about 8 or 9 hours, and then I parked it, and then I went from Nashville to Mississippi, and that took me about another 7.5, 8 hours. Way back from Mississippi back to Chicago, I drove it for 16.5 hours straight with the cruise set at about 85, 90, and I did not have a problem, anything. I got like 26, 27 miles a gallon. Absolutely insane going all the way through there. And then from Chicago all the way to California, I think I averaged 29, but I had the cruise set at like 70 because I was honestly just taking my time. Give you guys a little bit more sound. So like I said, it sounds pretty good. With headers, it gets obnoxiously loud, so I'm really not trying to get a ticket. Final comments and remarks, I guess. The transmission's kind of iffy. I really don't like it. If you've driven a GT350 or even like the older 05, 09 GTs with the Trimix, those transmissions are literally just so much better. They really are. They shift so much smoother. Everything about them is just better. The 05 to 09 one that I drove, it had a short shifter in it, and dude, I could bang those gears. I mean, I could just I mean, just row through them really, really hard, and I wasn't worried. But this one, I'm kind of worried that it's gonna go out pretty soon. I'm sure that'll be another video, you know, YouTube content. I put my transmission on my 2017 Mustang. You know, until then, I'm gonna go ahead and turn around right here. All right, I'm good. Damn, this car makes me smile. The visibility in this car is pretty good. I can see out the back. I've never had any problems with it. My mirrors are good. Like, I know the Camaro has kind of problems, ironically, as one just drives past me. I know a lot of people are iffy about that for a daily driver. As long as you don't put like window louvers and shit on it. I think even with window louvers, you can still see through them. Dude, what are with these rumble strips in the middle of the freaking road? That is the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, the visibility's not bad at all. You can definitely manage it for a daily driver. It's got like the blind spot mirrors and stuff like that in it already, so you don't have to get like the little circular ones like I got on the truck. The paint still isn't that bad. Someone hit me in a parking lot in this car. In the walk around video, if you guys can guess where it got hit, and I'll give you guys like a shout out in the next video. They did a really, really, really good job repairing it. So if one of you guys manages to see that, I know I've had people come up to me and be like, hey, that get hit? I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, I can tell, but most of the time it's just former bodywork people that can tell me that. And if you can't see it to the naked eye, then the standard person, then I don't really care. You know, I take it out to like the canyons and stuff like that. Do pretty fun runs out there with a couple people. So, you know, even doing that, I've still never had problems with the car. The transmission's fine. I've never had the transmission overheat. I've never had the car overheat. The car's just reliable. Honestly, it really is. The motor and everything's completely fine, even at 61,000 miles. I don't know who owned it before me, but yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you're interested in buying one, you know, do whatever you can handle. You know, if you've never driven a high horsepower car before, I know there's a lot of memes and stuff like Mustangs wrecking, but honestly, you just have to respect the car. That's really just the biggest thing for me, is people buy these cars and it's just so like, oh, like I know how to drive, blah, 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 let me swing it around this corner, and then, you know, you end up on YouTube and it's just, you know, a tragedy. But they're definitely not bad cars to learn on, absolutely not. Daily ability, driving in general, sound, motor reliability, interior and everything, I covered all that. So I'll just go ahead and, you know, yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and stay tuned. I got more videos coming. I'm probably gonna get one whenever I go on my next run, so stay tuned for that for sure, because that's gonna be a lot of good sound bits in that one. There's a lot of straightaways and stuff like that. So, but all right, I'll see y'all next video. Peace.